PlayStation just killed physical discs starting in 2028. So all future PlayStation games will not have, things like this disc for Grand Theft Auto San Andreas for the PlayStation 2. That's the end of that. No more of this on new PlayStation games coming out starting in January of 2028. That is a real shame. Look at this. This is Grand Theft Auto, the trilogy. Grand Theft Auto 3, Vice City, San Andreas for the PlayStation 2. Remember these? Remember what that came inside of these boxes? Look at this. This is a nice, colorful instruction manual for GTA San Andreas, right? Creative, fun, cool, right? And that's not all. They give you this enormous, gigantic poster of the game. And then on the back is a map. That's how much effort companies used to put into these things. You get an instruction booklet, a map, a disc, and now everything's going to be digital. Okay, everything's going to be digital. And the only physical thing you might be able to buy is they might give you a case like this with a code in a box. I don't think you're going to be getting any instruction manual or anything like that. Yeah, it's a terrible thing for a lot of reasons. First of all, as you can see, I still have my GTA games from the PS2 from probably like 20 years ago. I mean, it's crazy, when I was a little kid. And these are like cool for nostalgia reasons, for collectors reasons, but also to actually play the games on the system, right? Now, in the future, you could buy digital games only from PlayStation, and then one day they could take them away from you, because everybody knows when you buy a digital game, you're only buying the license to play the game, right? They could revoke that license. In fact, recently PlayStation took away like hundreds of movies away from people who had bought them digitally because, I guess, of licensing agreements expiring or something. And it's kind of like a preview of what could happen in the future with gaming. And everybody was already concerned about the future of gaming because the RAM prices are increasing, which means the console prices are increasing, game prices are increasing. It's like everything's increasing, and now everything's going to be digital. Because that's also bad for game preservation. Part of the reason is like, look, if I stick this into a PlayStation 2, this disc for San Andreas, or my disc for GTA 3 or GTA Vice City, I can play the game right now. Okay, I don't have to worry about connecting to the internet or anything like that. None of that. That's the beauty of physical games. I have a Nintendo Switch too. One of my favorite things is that, you can get the entire game on the card. Not all the time, though, these days, but with a lot of Nintendo first-party titles. For example, I just bought Star Fox. That whole game is on that game card. And that preserves that game. I don't have to connect to the internet to play that game. I don't. I can just play it right out of the box. Just like my GTA games from the PlayStation 2. And that's the way it should be. That's the way it's supposed to be. Now they're changing everything. Everybody was thinking like, I shouldn't say everybody, but a lot of people have been thinking like, am I even going to get a console in the next generation? Because the PlayStation 6, the Xbox Project Helix could be so exorbitantly expensive. It could price out so many people. And even the people who could afford it might look at it and be like, is this even worth it? I mean, like, everybody, I keep saying that, everybody, but like, because most gamers are on the same side with a lot of this stuff. The Steam machine, it's more than $1,000. That's pretty much dead on arrival out of the gate. I mean, some people will buy it, but it's not going to be like some gigantic seller that's going to compete with the console sales of like the Nintendo Switch 2 or the PlayStation 5. It's not going to do that. Nobody's going to pay $1,000 for that thing. I shouldn't deal in absolutes. The majority of people will not pay that. I won't pay that. And if the new Xbox or the new PlayStation is ridiculously expensive, I don't really feel any need to go out and buy it, at least on day one. Maybe wait until sometime in the far future it gets discounted down to an affordable price. Because I have plenty of games. I have access to tons of games. I have all the consoles I need, and I have a backlog that is enormous. So why should I jump into this all digital future? So here is the actual announcement from PlayStation on PlayStation blog. Let me just read it. Physical disc production ending in January 2028 for new games releasing on PlayStation consoles. In response to shifting trends in consumer preference, new games will be released on PlayStation Store and at retailers in digital formats only. As consumer preferences and the broader entertainment industry continue to shift away from physical disc to digital, physical game disc production for all new games releasing on PlayStation consoles will be discontinued starting January 2028. See, they're kind of doing what I'm doing. Remember how I was saying everybody does this, nobody does that? They're dealing in absolutes because they're like saying, consumers want digital, and that's just not the case. I mean, maybe digital sales are outpacing physical sales as it stands right now, but part of that may be because a lot of games don't have a real physical version. When I say real physical version, I mean the entire game is on the disc and you don't have to connect to the internet at all to play the game. A lot of physical versions are sort of half physical, half digital. Like they'll give you a disc, but you got to download the rest of the game from the internet. Or they have like things like the Nintendo game key card where the game is not on the card. It's just a physical token of appreciation for buying the game. You stick it in the console and then it downloads the game. So it's not really a physical version from like the historic meaning of that term. Like GTA 6, it's interesting how I was pointing out GTA San Andreas and the other ones in the trilogy, because GTA 6, they've already announced that at launch it's going to be an all digital release. Because even if you buy the physical version, and Rockstar Games calls it the physical version of GTA 6, it's just a download code in a box. They told us that. It's not a disc. You're going to buy, you might buy a case like this, or, or this, or this, but inside, okay, so this is GTA Vice City. Once again, they had a cool booklet inside. There's a map as well, I think, yes, or some type of little poster in here, and then the disc. But like when you buy GTA 6, there's not going to be no disc. It's a download code in a box. Maybe if they're nice, they'll give you some type of collectible booklet or sticker, maybe. We don't even know if they're going to give you that. I would hope they would, since GTA 6 is like the biggest game of the generation. But you never know. It might literally just be a code and nothing else inside of there. So they're saying consumer preferences are shifting towards digital. I think consumers are being pushed in that direction. So this is a natural direction for Sony Interactive Entertainment, back to the article here, to adapt to consumer trends as the general preference for digital media significantly outpaces physical discs. This transition will enable us to align more closely with how most of our community prefers to access and play games today. See, again, we're being pushed in that direction with all their, foolishness. Also, let's talk about Nintendo. Star Fox, the game I just got, right? For Nintendo Switch 2. The digital version, $50. Physical version, $60. Again, what does that do to people? it's almost sort of like pushing them to buy the digital version. Luckily for me, I got the physical version for the same price as the digital version because I bought it on Amazon for $50. Pre-ordered it. I pre-ordered it. It was $50. I don't know if it was a Prime Week deal or whatever. So I paid the same price for the physical. That's why I got it physically. Otherwise, if I couldn't find like a $50 version physically, I don't even know if I would have bought the game. I probably just would have waited for a sale in the future for the physical version. But anyway, the other problem with things going digitally and getting rid of the physical discs, it's like it takes away some of the fun of, you know, going and getting a physical copy from a store. It's fun to go to the Nintendo store and buy the brand new Nintendo Switch 2 game. It's fun to do that. And that goes away. Remember midnight releases? Is there going to be a midnight release for the GTA 6 code in a box? That would be embarrassing. Anyway, so we'll continue to prioritize our resources to drive innovation in how players can access games and provide choices as to where players prefer to purchase new games, whether that's at retailers or PlayStation Store. We remain committed to delivering a world-class gaming experience to our fans, and we thank you for your continued support. I don't know how much support they'll be getting in the future. You know, I don't know how many people are going to be able to afford the PlayStation 6 at launch. I'm sure it'll sell a lot just because there's always going to be scalpers or other people buying these things. But like over the long term, will the PlayStation 6 outsell the PS5? I think even though it's early, I can probably confidently say no. I don't think it will, because the PlayStation 5 is affordable, the base model, or even the digital-only edition model. They've had so many sales where it was actually an affordable console for the hardware they're providing you. Well, in the future, especially when people are saying RAM prices are going to go up and they're never going to return to what they were prior to last year, this is bad. This is bad stuff, man. You know, getting rid of physical media entirely for your console. So it's not just first party PlayStation games. It is also like, you know, this. It's like even the Rockstar games, when they release something, it has to be digital in the future. So GTA 7 on the PlayStation console is going to have to be digital. Well, GTA 6 is already. I mean, I don't know if they will have a physical release of GTA 6 in the future, you know, just as the swan song for physical media. But yeah, bad news, guys. The bad news keeps on coming from the gaming industry. I can't believe it was PlayStation that did this. I would have thought Xbox would have been the one to announce this. But no, PlayStation. Because remember, the PlayStation 4, they made fun of Xbox for having that like online, you know, the way they were like punishing people. I think with the launch of the Xbox One, when it was something about punishing people for buying used games, there was some kind of like penalty involved. And the PlayStation 4 commercial where they said, this is how you share games on PlayStation 4. And they showed one guy handing a physical box, a physical game to his friend, and that's how you share games on the PlayStation 4. Basically, that's gone.